get into the scuttlebutt of the day, which I don't know where the hell we're going to end up if we ever get to the scuttlebutt of the day. Bay State's children's advocates have conceded. They've conceded now. Justina Pelletier should be returned to their family. Really? Well, they've conceded. What do you mean conceded? And, the question begs, and then that's the first thing that popped into my mind. And, of course, it did with the father as well. And I think I got that in here somewhere. But if I don't, I'm going to give it to you now. If they've now conceded, well, then why did they take her to begin with? Which completely, as far as I'm concerned, completely undermines everything that they did, which they just now admitted that they illegally stole this girl. For what? Oh, that's right. Bonus money. They're stealing your children so they can not only have a job, but then they can get a bonus. And this is what happened. Well, now finally, the Bay State Children's Advocates have now conceded that Justina Pelletier should finally be returned to her family. Well, yeah. Well, they finally took her out of the psych ward. She was in that psych ward. Guess how long? That's right, 10 months. Not 10 weeks, 10 days, 10 hours. 10 months. Locked in a room by herself. No medical attention. No physical attention. Other than to be ridiculed, and God only knows what they did to her. If they did give her any medication, what was that medication? What were they doing with her? Well, she was a test subject. We know that. And the sad thing about it is she's not the only one. There are literally thousands, more than likely tens or, again, more than likely hundreds of thousands. God help us if we are in the millions. Could we be? Yeah. Yeah. Could be. So once we finally get her home, well, now we've got to do some work. We've got governors. This Governor Patrick there in Massachusetts, this worthless worm. You've got that Judge Johnston, whatever the hell his stupid name is. You've got all these people, psychiatrists or psychologists, whatever that Bongiorno, whatever the hell her stupid name is. And that little punk ass 7 months out of medical school is going to get in a little pissing contest with the father who's known this girl, let's see, well, she was 14 when she was there, so her entire life. These guys, the Pelletiers, take their daughter to a doctor, and the doctor says, you know what, I've done everything I can. And now she's got a bellyache. So let's get her over there to see this Dr. Flores, which is a doctor that has treated her before, had kind of a history. So they arrive and they took her by ambulance. Well, they come into the ambulance, and when you come in by ambulance, you have to go into the emergency room. Well, the little punk ass was, I guess, on shift. Decided to get a little bit of an attitude because he remembered, oh, that's right, that psychologist friend of mine said I can get a kickback. I can get a little bonus. I can get some extra money if I bring her kids. Okay. So they decide what is medical neglect, and they take the kid under that premise. So they take Justina Pelletier under the premise now of medical neglect by the parents. So they throw her in a psych room by herself. A room by herself. Who needs medical attention? She doesn't need to be caged up like an animal. It's not in her head. It's in her stomach. And they're doing this to a lot of children. So, yeah, I'm glad that she's finally getting home. But I still want to know what the hell's going to happen with the rest of these children. This is an epidemic. This ain't going away. This ain't going away until we stand up and do something. Finally, even though we stood up and did something and complained about the VA, do they have a doctor yet? Oh, that's right. We're too busy trying to figure out how to spin the story because we've got a midterm election coming up. But we've concluded that it's systemic. Okay, it doesn't take too many brain cells to figure that one out. Well, what are you doing to fix the problem? And you see, the problem is maybe you don't know the problem. Well, let me tell you what the problem is. The problem is you have veterans, bunches of them, too many of them. What the actual number is, we don't really know. And the number that they do give us, do we believe it? I can't. I'm sure it's a roundabout number somewhere. But the problem is these vets still do not have a doctor, which is the problem. I don't understand why these vets can't automatically just, boom, get a doctor. We can find doctors. We can find doctors places. We can find them. We can ship them in. We can ship them out. We can find doctors that will take care of these people. Why are there not centers set up? You know you need the extra room. Okay, well then find a place that's big enough to house a bunch of things and turn it into I guess, just an extension of the hospital, just at a different location. People that you can handle that are away from there, they don't need as much medical attention or whatever, and you have whatever you need to have there. But the point is, these vets need to get a doctor. And I don't care if they're vets or not. This doesn't matter to me. The fact is, they're people. These are human beings, man. These children that they are kidnapping. You can't take your child into an emergency room anymore. I mean, a kid gets his, breaks a finger, an arm, a leg, or whatever, gets cut up, bruised up. Kids are going to get hurt. We were always getting hurt. It's part of being a kid. If you don't get hurt, you don't learn. Well, they can construe that as, well, parent neglect and parent abuse and child abuse and all this abuse and all that. I mean, somebody sees dollar signs. That's why those vets were put on that list, because people saw dollar signs. If I've got too many people here and I'm not getting the treatment, well, then I'm not going to get that bonus. And I promised my wife that I was going to put in a pool. She has been looking so forward to this pool. She wants one of those, kind of a deck kind of a thing, and then it's got, a barbecue, an outdoor barbecue pit and that kind of stuff to go along with the pool. She's got to have that. And I got to please the little woman, so I'm going to have to doctor up these books just so I don't get in trouble at home. And I don't get in trouble at the VA. You don't get my bosses upset at me because no one's getting help. Oh, hell. Bonus is important to me. I've got to have it. So I'll just take these people over here, put them on this list over here, and then you just give me this list. And I'll file it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they're doing this stuff under your nose. Thank God for that internet. Thank God for the internet. Really, what's going on? This stuff has been going on for a long time. What's been going on with, if I can ever shut up long enough to get to the scuttlebutt of the day, with what's going on with that immigration. I mean, that's a mess, man. I mean, that's a mess. That's a big mess. That's a dangerous mess. It is national security. It is public safety. It's a mess. Financially, it's a mess. Everything about it is a mess. These inhumane conditions, it's a mess. In fact, that God knows how many of them are bringing all different kinds of diseases they got, not only from their country, but along the way. All through Central America, all up and through Mexico. God only knows what they picked up. Bringing that in, everybody else is now getting it. The Border Patrol are like, hey, wait a minute, man. I don't want to be around these diseases. Can you blame them? No. But we keep bringing them in. We're encouraging it. Come on in. Come on. Meanwhile, we still have over 92 million of our people, Americans, out of work. And we want to keep bringing more and more immigrants in here. Now, I do understand. Okay, their countries. Okay, they've got nothing over there. They want to come over here for all the right reasons. I mean, look, I can understand it. I can dig it. But if you're going to do it, you need some kind of legitimate plan in place. And they can't just start coming over here in droves, taking advantage of our laws, of our system for us, Americans, not for them. We can't do that in their country. We're the only country that allows this. We're the only ones that does this. And why are we doing it? Well, it's simply to break the bank, man. Break the system. That's the whole point. You crash and burn the entire system, and then the government can just swoop on in, take control. That's how they get you. They get you here, get you there. They nickel and dime you until there's hardly anything left. Then they swoop in and scoop you up. You got nothing left to fight back. So what are you going to do? Well, you're not going to do very much. The whole system is blown up. And now they got to swoop in and fix the mess when they're the ones who created it. Why do we keep allowing this government to try to fix a mess that they created? The government should do very little. I'm sorry, but with this Constitution, if you read it, I got it in my hand right here, right now. It never goes anywhere without me. I got pocket constitutions. I got everything. But if you read it, it very simply outlines how the government is to operate. This government this Congress should not be in session as many times as they are. They don't need to be in session. They don't need to pass laws just to say they pass laws. Dingbat, that idiot. Oh my God. That stupid Nancy Pelosi. Just thinking about that woman just makes the air stupid. She makes everything about you stupid. She makes everything about everything stupid. She makes stupid stupid. Oh, now I forgot what the hell I was talking about with her. See, this is the matter with these people. This is what they do. They make you stupid. You can't even talk about that Nancy Pelosi without just getting stupid. We don't need these kinds of people in office anymore. And thank God that Eric Cantor got beat. Good. That was my show last night. I turned on the stupid television. Watching that Sean Hannity. And he had it on. And I was like, good. Virginia, you should have woke up a little bit before you voted for that governor. Now, I do know that they probably had a lot of shenanigans going on. And that election made it a little difficult because they stole a lot of votes. Don't tell me that they didn't. I don't trust that Terry McAuliffe for nothing. But you should have got a lot more people out there. You should have been able to beat them. In West Virginia, well, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with you, and all your coal mines are going to go. What are you going to do? Where are you going to find a job? What are you going to do now? What industry are you going to go into? Well, there's nothing left. And those that are left are now taken by illegal immigrants, including those that have committed murder, child molestation, rape. They deserve a job before you. I mean, you're just an American citizen. You're nothing. You're a zero. You're a hater. You're white. You're a loser. You don't get rights. No, we give you the rights that we give you, if we decide to give it to you. Well, we are at a breaking point in this country. Something is going to burst. Something's going to snap. What kept this Mr. Pelletier from actually blowing a gasket? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure he did get rather angry, but I would have lost it. I would still be in jail. I would be in jail on assault. And I certainly hope that Mr. Pelletier, you're not listening, but if you are, I certainly hope that when you finally get her home, that you sue the living hell out of these people. And you've got a very good case. You can't just take people just so you can get a bonus. You're stealing kids. She's 14. She's going to be 16 coming up here pretty soon. Well, the advocates have finally conceded that Justina, should go home. Well, according to the sources close to the case, this idiot judge, I got no respect for this guy. None. Zero. Nothing. You've done a bad job, Judge. If you had a decent governor, you'd be off the bench. According to sources close to the case, Judge Johnston issued a June 13th deadline for all paperwork to be filed and indicated a ruling will be made on or before June 20th. Today's the 11th. No, you need to do a ruling yesterday. Actually, 2 years ago, when you already made the ruling. Remember when you said that she could go home? And then you didn't follow it up. You didn't. I mean, the president goes out and makes all these laws and then doesn't follow them. Judges now, they go out and they give out all these orders. Okay, here's this, here's that, here's all the sentences, but you don't have to follow it. Well, what the hell's the point? Well, I have no idea. A judge gives an order. If you're a judge and you go out of your way to give an order. That's why you're there. That's your job. That's what you have to do. It's not really going out of your way, but that's what you do. You give an order and nobody follows it, and you don't see to it that it is followed. Then several months later, then you come back, and instead of siding with the people who wanted it followed, the family, so they can get their daughter home, you side with the very people who have kidnapped their daughter. So that tells me right now that the judge now is complicit. And I know I totally murderate the English language, so if I mispronounce a word, that's because, one, I have a broken left-handed tongue, and second, some words I just can't simply speak. But is this judge now on the take? Is he getting a piece of the pie too? And you know what that pie is? That's taxpayer dollars. This psychologist, children, and they put them in these test subjects, these tests, which is fine if they're like medical tests, like say you got some kind of weird, wacky disease that you can't figure out what the hell to do, but you got people that, maybe we might be able to do something here. There's nothing wrong with going into those kinds of tests. Last resort, why not? You know, you got a last resort. Hey, figure fine, screw it. I'll do it. All right. But that's not what this is. They're taking children that don't belong in their tests. They're taking children away from their parents that don't belong taken away from their parents. And those that do are, well, left with their parents. I guess they can't make as much money off of them. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on in these people's heads. Not at all. I don't think they do. But Mr. Staver, who is the family's attorney, claims that the DCF, which is the Department of Children and Families, which that entire DCF, that needs to be not only completely overhauled, but there needs to be a serious FBI investigation in there. Why isn't there? Why is there not the FBI investigating what happened in the VA?